Hello students, welcome to online study of Ashadeep International School, Standard 7th, Subject English, Chapter number 1, 3 questions, which is written by Leo Tolstoy. First of all, we get the little bit information about the writer Leo Tolstoy, who is born in 9 September 1828. His death in 20 November 1910. He was written many short stories like The Death of Ivan Ilyich, What Men Live By, The Prisoner of the Caucasus. Actually, Leo Tolstoy was a Russian writer and he is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time. His works is very famous during that time. He received multiple nominations for the Nobel Prize in Literature every year from 902 to 906, and many times he is also nominations for Nobel Peace Prize in 1901, 1902 and 1910. He has conducted a literary movement which was realism. Now, let's go the further information about the chapter, the three questions. Actually, the three question is a types of short story by Russian author Leo Tolstoy, which was first published in 1885 as a part of the collection What Men Live By and Other Tales. The story takes the form of a parable and it concerns a king who wants to find the answers to what he considered the three most important questions in his life. This short story, originally published in 1885, the genre of the story is fiction and original language of the three questions is Russian. And later on this short story is translated by Elmer and Louis Mode. Now let's go towards the chapter 3 questions part 1. There is a one king, one hermit, but king have lots of questions in his mind, so he wants the reason and what the circumstances due to that questions occurred in his life, all these things going on in his mind, so he wants solution of these three questions. So what he decided, he go towards the hermit in the forest and try to get the answer of these three questions. Now let's go with the chapter. Part 1. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew three things. These three things were: what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? So what happened, students? A king once thought that he would never fail if he knew three things. First one is what is the right time was to begin something. Second one is which people he should take advice from. And third one is how to decide what the most important thing to do was. So what king decided? The king therefore sent messengers throughout his kingdom promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these three questions. Many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his questions differently. King decided to send messengers throughout his kingdom. he promised to give a reward of large sum to the person who answered his three questions. In reply to the first question, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at its proper time. Others said that it was impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. The king should notice all that was going on, avoid foolish pleasures, and always do whatever seemed necessary at that time. Yet others said that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly without help from others. The right time for every action, but then others said that there were something which could be urgent. These things couldn't wait for the decision of the council. Many wise men tried their luck. They gave a number of answers. Some said that the king should go by a timetable. At that time, what others said? The king should do whatever seemed to him necessary at that moment. There are also another people present at that moment. What they were suggested? The king should consult wise men or magician. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future, and only magicians could do that. The king therefore would have to go to magicians. In their answers to the second question, some said that the people most necessary to the king were his counselors. Others said the priest. A few others chose the doctor, and yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary. You know very well that in ancient time many people believed in various notions, belief, rituals. So there are many people who suggested that we would have to follow instructions of magicians, and if they were predicted anything, then we would have to follow that and apply in our life. So, at a moment answering the second question, some gave top importance to his counselors. Somehow, some people gave importance to the priest, and yet others to the doctors or soldiers also. To the third question, some said science, others chose fighting, and yet others religious worship. As the answer to his questions were so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. The hermit lived in a wood which he never left. He saw no one but simple people, and so the king put on ordinary clothes. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse with his bodyguard and went on alone. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. The king wasn't satisfied. So, in reply to the third question, the wise men gave importance to science or fighting, religious worship. There is a one hermit lived in the forest who always take care for the simple people. So king decided to went on simple clothes as like a ordinary people. When he reached the hermit's hut, at that time king is ready with his bodyguard, and went on alone. He greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. The king went up to the hermit and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer three questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important? The hermit listened to the king but didn't speak. He went on digging. You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work in your place. Thanks, said the hermit, giving the king his spade. Then he sat down on the ground. The king wasn't satisfied. He went to the hermit who lived in the jungle alone. There he saw the old and weak hermit digging the ground. So king decided that this is the right time to ask his three questions. So very innocently king asked his question to the hermit. But at that time, hermit didn't speak any single word. He became silent and listened the whole matter of the king. So king tried to consult with hermit. When the king had dug two beds, he stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit gave no answer but stood up, stretching out his hands for the spade, and said, Now you rest and let me work. But the king didn't give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed, then another. The sun went down behind the trees, and at last the king stuck the spade into the ground and said, I came to you, wise man, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me no answer, tell me so, and I will return home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. The king continuously asked his questions but got not answer. So king became very much furious about his three questions. Then he tried to consult hermit. So he decided to take the spade from the hermit and began to work in his place. Several hours passed. 1 hour passed, then another hour passed. Gradually, time was spent. It was evening, so the king stopped digging the bed. The king was ready to take leave from the hermit. Just then, the hermit told that someone was running towards them. Here, guys, part 1 is over, and now go towards the part 2 of this three questions lesson. Now let's see the part 2. The king turned round and saw a bearded man running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach, from which blood was flowing. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. The king and hermit removed the man's clothing and found a large wound in his stomach. The king washed and covered it with his handkerchief, but the blood wouldn't stop flowing. The king redressed the wound until at last the bleeding stopped. What happened? At that time, suddenly the king saw a bearded man running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach, from which blood was oozing. As he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. He had a large wound in his stomach. The man felt better and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. By this time, the sun had set and the air was cool. The king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The man closed his eyes and lay quiet. The king, tired by his walk and work he had done, lay down on the floor and slept through the night. When he awoke, it was several minutes before he could remember. The king was wound and compressed it with his handkerchief. At last, the bleeding stopped. Then what happened? The man felt better and asked for water to drink. The king gave him fresh water. The sun had set by then. The king and the hermit carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The tired king also fell asleep. When he awoke, the bearded man asked to forgive him. Now look at this picture. There is a one wounded man who is laid down on the land, and there are two another men also present there. One is king and another one is hermit, who tried to cure his wounds. Where he was, or who the strange bearded man lying on the bed was. Forgive me, said the bearded man in a weak voice. When he saw that the king was awake, I do not know you and have nothing to forgive you for, said the king. You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore revenge on you because you put my brother to death and seized my property. I knew you had gone alone to see that hermit, and I made up my mind to kill you on your way home. But the day passed and you didn't return, so I left my hiding place and I came upon your bodyguard who recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from him, but I should have died if you hadn't dressed my wounds. I wished to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I live, I will serve you as your most faithful servant and will order my sons to do the same. Forgive me. The man was, in fact, the king's enemy. He had followed the king to take revenge on him. He had vowed to kill him. The king had once put his brother to death. The man hid himself in a bush on the way to the jungle. He came out of his hiding place when the king didn't return for long time. He got wounded by king's bodyguards. He would have died if the king hadn't dressed his wound. He felt grateful to the king who had saved his life. So he promised to serve the king as a faithful servant. The king was very happy to have made peace with his enemy so easily and to have won him over as a friend. He not only forgave him, but said he would send his servant and his own doctor to look after him. He promised to give back the man his property. Leaving the wounded man, the king went out of the hut and looked round for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to get answers to his questions. The hermit was on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king went up to the hermit and said, "For the last time, I beg you to answer my questions, wise man." At that time, king was happy that he made a peace with his enemy. He forgave the man and promised to give back his property. "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still bending down to the ground and looking up at the king as he stood before him. How have I been answered? What do you mean? Do you not see? Replied the hermit. If you hadn't pitied my weakness yesterday and hadn't dug these beds for me, you would have gone away. Then that man would have attacked you, and you would have wished you had stayed with me. So, the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man. And to do me good was your most important business. What the king decided to went up to the hermit, and he again asked for answers to his three questions because he was very curious to get the answer. The hermit later on decided to explain that by digging the beds for him, the king has escaped attack. Afterwards, when the man ran to us, the most important time was when you were caring for him, because if you hadn't dressed his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So, he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. Remember then, there is only one time that is important, and that time is now. It is the most important time because it is the only time we have any power to act. Later on, Hermit decided to explain three questions answered to the king. So, Hermit tried to give explanation of the three questions of the king. So, the most important time was when he was digging the beds, and the hermit himself was the most important person. So, to do him good was the king's most important business. The most necessary person is the person you are with at a particular moment, for no one knows what will happen in the future, whether we will meet anyone else. The most important business is to do that person good, because we were sent into this world for that purpose alone. So, what happened at last, students? The hermit further told the king that the most important person for him was the person with him at that particular moment, and the most important business was to help that person. It means king helped to the wounded man. So, at that moment, that wounded man is most important for the king, and the most important time was now, that is the present moment. By this lesson, Leo Tolstoy convey one message toward the society, towards the people, is that in our life, present moment is most important for the livelihood for the human beings, because we didn't have to concern about the past and don't spoil our present, and also we will not have to worried about our future, because sometimes it spoil our present moment. So in present, past and future, the most important time for our pleasure, for our life, is now. It means present moment. Thank you, students.